Our guest today is Peter Hartz, former Chief Human Resources Manager at Volkswagen. Controversial reforms to Germany's social benefits system were named after him, and we'll discuss those reforms today. Peter Hartz, welcome.
Hello.
And welcome, viewers. I'm Thomas Spahn. Mr. Hartz, most economic experts agree that the labor market reforms known as Agenda 2010 put Germany back on solid financial footing and created prosperity that has made us the envy of so many countries. Does that make you feel proud?
Ultimately, the reform of the labor market was a success. But there are still some areas that we need to work on. Long-term unemployment, for instance, and youth unemployment.
But are you proud?
Until all the results are in, it's too early to feel proud.
The term Hartz IV, as applied to people who are on welfare instead of unemployment compensation, has a social stigma. Those people are often seen as lacking ability. They've fallen behind. Does that bother you?
It is very negative. When we started the reforms, we made the name of the package too long. Journalists don't like to repeat long names for modern labor market services. I was the main advisor on the reforms, and I had a short name, so it became Hartz IV. It should have another name.
These reforms had a positive effect on Germany, but they also created a lot of problems. The Social Democrats were hurt by them. Chancellor Schröder was voted out of office. Did you ever imagine that this would be the price to pay?
No, and I can't really understand that, because we did achieve results. We reduced unemployment by half and helped put people back to work. After the rights guaranteed in Germany's basic law, that's the most important thing that people can have: work. The political evaluation of the reforms has given them a reputation that they don't deserve.
You're a member of the Social Democrat Party. The Hartz reforms drove some people from the SPD to the Left Party. The SPD doesn't have a majority in the Bundestag. Was that too much of a price to pay?
The reforms need to be properly explained and presented, and we need to promote their successes, and there have been successes. But you also have to make changes where necessary. The only constant is change. Today, 15 years on, we know a lot more about economics, and today we can continue the reforms. We did precisely that a couple of days ago.
The Left Party and many left-wingers in the SPD say that the Hartz reforms amounted to a state-supported wage cut, a massive expansion of the low-wage workforce, and they impoverished millions of people. Was that the price for making Germany competitive again?
The level of welfare benefits was set very low, at 359 euros. We had recommended 511 euros. So that was not a success. But if you look at the situation from an economic standpoint, companies are influenced by the market. If they want to create new jobs, they have to be competitive. We were guided by the principle that some work is better than no work. If someone becomes employed again, he or she can move on. Research has shown how difficult life can be for people who have absolutely no work at all.
Many in the SPD still complain about parts of the reforms and say that they're a burden on the party. SPD Chancellor candidate Martin Schulz also wants to revise them. Is this a problem for you?
Yes, but it also represents an opportunity. Labor market reform is once again a hot topic. For a long time, people didn't pay much attention to it. We need to find the right way forward with these reforms.
You've proposed more than 200 pages worth of such reforms. You're quite concerned about high long-term and youth unemployment. Obviously, we can't discuss all of your proposals, but perhaps you can give us a summary.
Today, it's possible to analyze and quantify talent. Everyone has some sort of talent. Personnel administrators have always dreamed about being able to identify these talents. Today we can use software and big data to determine what's suitable for every individual. If you could match that data to the right jobs, you could solve the problem of youth unemployment. 280,000 young people in Germany don't have jobs. That's a very high number.
That sounds quite simple, but a lot of people would say it's a massive task. How could we reduce unemployment to zero?
You have to start by identifying the talents that people have and what they're suitable for. And with the long-term unemployed especially, you have to take their psychological health into consideration. Medical research into brain function has shown us how unemployment can change people. Experts talk about learned insecurity. You have to be aware of that. You have to give people health coaching, take them by the hand, and lead them back to employment.
You've had that idea for a while, and I believe you've talked to French President Emmanuel Macron about it. What was his response?
2 years ago, at our research center, we worked out what might be possible in France. Mr. Macron was one of our economic advisors. He took note of these ideas and shared them with President Hollande. And I'm happy to see that some of these proposals have appeared in Macron's government agenda.
So Macron is familiar with your ideas and supports some of them. What do you hope will come of that?
One example would be a joint French-German project to combat youth unemployment. It could have two parts, one with 500,000 French young people and one with 250,000 young Germans. They could be brought into the workforce together. These are young people who have no training, or they've been out of work for a while, or they have no internship or a job, but they do have training.
Your original reforms were supposed to do that. Why didn't they work?
There wasn't enough focus on long-term and youth unemployment. And we didn't have the same sort of tools that we have today. For example, with big data, we can determine employment possibilities in the service sector on a street-by-street basis.
You achieved success through continuing education, a rather unconventional option. How did that help you?
When my mother would see her sons and grandsons, the first thing she always asked was, "Where are you working right now?" I inherited a fundamental belief that you have to have a job so that you can earn a living and develop yourself as a person.
Is that something you have in common with Gerhard Schröder? He was the sort of politician who sometimes defied the majority, rolled up his sleeves, and got things moving.
We do have the same background, and we wanted to show that people can get ahead in life by working hard and working well. We both have experience in the metalworking industry and in the Social Democratic Party, so we had the right attitude.
gesellschaftliche Einstellung bekommt.
Peter Hartz, you're 75 years old. You certainly don't look it. And you're still working to reduce youth and long-term unemployment. What keeps you going?
If you have the opportunity to solve a problem like this, you have to try. If you have a burst pipe at home, you get it fixed right away. If someone in your family has a stroke, you take immediate action. In Europe right now, more than 4 million young people don't have jobs. You need 3 things to change this. You need political power, resources, and ideas. We've delivered the ideas. The resources are there. And in terms of political power, European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker and the 28 EU heads of state need to do their part. Europe is a really great project, a project for peace and freedom. It's wonderful. But youth unemployment should be top of the agenda. People should be asking themselves, how many jobs have we created for young people? That's the pressing issue right now. So the big politicians have to get on with it.
Now we'd like you to complete 3 sentences for us. First, the most important reform that I helped to develop is
youth unemployment.
the reforms for cutting youth unemployment. My biggest regret in life is
I didn't monitor some things closely enough and sometimes trusted people too much.
Unemployment will continue to decline in Germany because
we have the know-how and we have the resources.
Peter Hartz, thank you.
My pleasure.